one of the other big battlefields right now in the culture, unfortunately, is race and specifically this DEI anti-racism grift, as I see it. So it was kind of an easy thing to choose, that this is what we want to pick as our next area to explore. The big question was, how do we get into it? How do we approach it? Because What is a Woman was more me skeptically asking questions, kind of a blank slate through the whole thing, not agreeing with anything I was told, but also not really disagreeing, just asking questions until the end. With this, we thought, number one, not wanting to just repeat the same thing from What is a Woman, but also just the issue itself probably calls for a different approach. And so we decided that probably the best way to do this is for me to go in and not be skeptical at all, in fact, but to just agree with whatever they tell me when I start on my own personal, journey of racial awakening, and kind of let these people that I talked in the film, let them guide me down the rabbit hole. So we wanted to end up with a film that feels like it builds, and one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, until you end up in a place that's just, unexpected and wild and hopefully funny.
In today's fast-paced world, it's getting harder and harder to live a healthy lifestyle. So many people are struggling with gut issues, stress, immune health issues, and more. A lot of it comes down to diet, but getting nutrient-rich food consistently isn't always easy and affordable. With hectic schedules, processed foods, and rising costs, we all need a cheat code in order to live a healthy lifestyle. My cheat code is Optimal Human. It's got over 90 different ingredients, including powerful vitamins and nutrients, and 1 scoop per day is going to help you to meet your daily nutritional requirements. It contains powerful superfoods like organic reishi mushroom for your brain, turmeric root for your joints, beetroot for cardiovascular health, CoQ10 for cellular health, and probiotics for gut health. It's really simple to integrate into your daily diet. You just add 1 scoop to your water, milk, a protein shake, or a juice, and it also tastes delicious. If you would like to try it out and get 50% off, go to optimalhuman.com/Zuby, and you will get 50% off your first month. Once again, that's optimalhuman.com/Zuby to get 50% off your first month. Try it out. It's one of those movies where I felt the same with What is a Woman, and I'm not saying this to gas you up, but only you're one of the only people who could pull off something like that because of your demeanor and the ability to maintain a poker face. There are certain moments in there I was just like, there's no way on earth I would be able to keep a straight face during some of those interactions. I would have just given the game away. Yeah,
well, and everyone kind of assumes that the hard part is keeping a straight face, which it's not for me. And part of that is, I've been, even Jeremy Boring, our CEO, introed me yesterday and said that I'm a sociopath. He says it was with love. And, there's maybe there's an element of that, but I don't experience regular human emotions. But the other thing is that when you're making, really with both films, especially with this one, watching it back, it's very, I laugh watching it back. It's funny, even as a person and I've seen the movie now like 20 times. Yeah. But when you're in the room with these people, it's not really that funny. In real time, when you're sitting there with them, the humor is after the fact. Because when you're in it, it's like, these are very unpleasant people, let's say. And the things that they're saying are really horrific, actually. And so it's more outrageous, infuriating, pathetic, sad. Those are the emotions you feel in the moment. Awkward, also, which I am making it more awkward intentionally in a lot of these interactions. And then you leave. It's like, there's not much of a temptation to start breaking out in laughter. That's all after the fact. You're finding the comedy and the humor in it. After it's all done.
Yeah, I get that. I have to ask the obvious question, which is, how on earth did you manage to set that up? Because as I was watching it, I was like, Matt is one of the most prominent conservative commentators in the country, particularly after What is a Woman went out there. So how were you able to, you don't have to give the whole game away if you don't want to, but how were you even able to arrange some of those meetings and situations?
Yeah, it was with great difficulty was one of the answers. Of course, I can't give away the whole. I can't give away all of our methods, or I'd have to kill you, as you might expect.
I'm trying to stay alive.
Yeah, and I don't like my chances killing you if I don't have I had to bring a weapon on me. So, there's a few things that work to our advantage. I'll say broadly. One is that we paid them, and we don't hide from that in the film. We put their price tags up on the screen.
Some of them were pretty expensive.
Yeah, some of them were quite. They were all way more expensive than they should have been. We paid them more than they were worth, because this thing is a grift. It's a scam, and that's part of what we're trying to expose. So we fully embrace the fact that we paid them, and I think maybe they get dollar signs in their eyes, and they're willing to overlook things that otherwise would be red flags. I'm not sure. And the other part too that I always say to this question is that these people live they live very insulated lives. You know, they're coming from academia, they're coming from the corporate world, they're coming from very left-wing spaces, and they probably aren't around normal people, and they're certainly not around conservatives like ever. Which means, number one, to them it's kind of unthinkable that they'd ever be in a room with someone who would challenge them or try to expose them in any way, because they never are in rooms with those sorts of people. And number two, probably a lot of them really didn't know who I was, because if all you pay attention to is left-wing media, and you're in your kind of ivory tower bubble, I mean, I probably go under the radar. I mean, so we sat sitting in the room with Robin DiAngelo. She asked me my name. I said it was Matt. I had the costume is not very elaborate. I admit, it's not like we're doing facial prosthetics and all that kind of stuff. So, and you could tell in the interview, she started a little bit, she wanted to know who we were. And I'm sitting there, the costume's not that convincing. I say my name's Matt. And she still goes through with it. And I assume that's because she probably just had no idea who I was.
Yeah. I was amazed that you got Robin DiAngelo in there. As soon as I saw her in the trailer, I was just like, oh gosh, this is gonna be something else.
Yeah, we knew we knew when we got her. Obviously, when we decided to make this movie, we knew she was one of the people we wanted to get in it. We had our wish list, and I didn't think we would. I thought she's kind of the white whale, pardon the expression. So I didn't think we'd get her, but she was on the wish list. She was really at the top of it, honestly, because she's the godmother,
the queen of it.
Yeah, the guru of this stuff. But we knew if we got her, then we have to. We got to do something with it. That we got to make it count. I didn't want to just go in there and ask questions, and have her give her pat, standard cliche answers, because that'd be really boring. But also, it's just a total wasted opportunity. So we sat down, and you can never script these things out because we don't know what the other person is going to say or do. But we had some. I don't want to give anything away, even if there already are spoilers, out there in the world. But we had a kind of a broad outline that we wanted to go down, and we knew where we wanted it to lead. I knew what the end point was going to be for this interaction with her, and we got there.
You did get there. Oh, I have a question. I mean, during this entire process and all the research that you've done into this, what's the best way to put this? Obviously, we've talked about this being a grift and a scam. But what percentage of the people in that world do you think are genuinely well-meaning versus people who are not really true believers, but they recognize that they can make money, gain social status, and promote a sort of agenda with this all?
It's hard to say because you can't read their minds.
Yeah.
I think that all of them have to believe it at some level, just psychologically. I think as a human being, I don't think you can just tell yourself that, oh yeah, I'm a scam artist. Maybe some people can.
I think some people can.
Some people can, yeah. But I think that probably most people need to be able to convince themselves, need to rationalize it, just so you can, keep functioning in the world and sleep at night. So I think that it's like 75% a full-on grift for them, where they know what they're saying isn't true, and then there's the 25% where they tell themselves that yeah, a lot of this stuff isn't true. A lot of this stuff might be surface level harmful, but it's for the greater good. And so this is what we have to do in order. So I think they probably tell themselves that. I don't know how. I don't think they believe much of the sort of doctrines of the anti-racist world, but I do think they believe in their own moral superiority. I think they believe in that. So that's the part that's authentic. Like they really do. And they'll make a show of humility, especially the white. If you talk Robin DiAngelo, if you talk to one of these DEI anti-racist experts who's white, they'll always make a show of faux humility. So you can't trap them by saying, well, you're white and you're sitting there telling other white people what to do. Where do you come off? Because they'll welcome that. They'll say, "Oh, well, absolutely, you're right. I'm part of the problem. I'm the worst of all. I'm the greatest sinner." They love that moment. They love to do that. But behind all of that, it's very self-satisfied. It's very, it's very
like the ultimate virtue signal.
right.
Yeah,
it's like the Pharisees. It's and that's what it is.